All right, everyone. New York's Attorney General Schneiderman has resigned. There's allegations against him by 4 different women that he was abusing them physically, like beating them up, I guess. Now, this is interesting primarily because Trump back in 2013, this is before Trump's in office by many years, came out and said, "Oh yeah, the Schneiderman's worse than Anthony Weiner." I guess I can't remember exactly what their problem was with one another. He's worse than Anthony Weiner. Basically, just wait and see. And yeah, it looks like he's an abuser too. Now, first, let me point out something. And I've had people, when I tweeted about this the other night, someone's like, "Well, oh, you're jumping on the bandwagon of guilty until proven innocent." No, not what I'm saying. I'm saying that in the court of public opinion, you can look like Bill Cosby. 60 women come forward to say he drugged and raped or molested or assaulted or whatever them. I believe them. There's too many different claimants for it not to be true. I do not believe, however, he should go to prison unless there is actual evidence in the case. The same holds true regardless of politics or anything else. Schneiderman should get his day in court on these claims. You can't just throw someone in prison or force them to cough up money to a claimant on mere allegation. Absolutely understood. That being said, I can still assume that he's guilty because there are multiple claimants. It boggles the mind. Why would 4 different people come forward at the same time? Oh yeah, he did this and that and the other thing, and corroborate one another, risking, by the way, a defamation suit. and he's resigned, so that kind of, it seems to bear out what they're saying. Why would he resign? Why would he have a reason to leave his job on mere allegation? He could just come out and say, "These kooks want my money. Fuck them." But he didn't do that now, did he? Now, this brings up the Trump is a time traveler meme. That's the main reason that it went viral, I think. Because the idea is that a lot of people that Trump has had a problem with in the past or present, they seem to fuck their own careers. So you get like, Clinton, she's embroiled in scandal. You get Huma having to be questioned several times. You get like an Anthony Weiner. You get a Schneiderman. You get a Weinstein. You get a Spacey. And then really the Me Too stuff is taken out an enormous swath of people who have a lot of money and power, and generally speaking, who basically hate Trump, or at least would definitely be opposing him. It seems like an awful large proportion of them are degenerated individuals. Now, here's my theory. My theory is the same as it was during the election, which is Trump has donated to Republicans and Democrats, hung out with politicians, celebrities, lawyers, and judges, the highbrow elite crowd of New York and beyond. He's hung out with these people for decades. He gets invited to people's weddings, so to speak. And when people get a little bit liquored up and stone cold sober Trump is sitting there, they start bragging about all of the things that they do because they assume that they're in dirty company because he's a Manhattan billionaire. They assume that he's just one of them. And they hear about him doing, little things with his taxes or something minor, and they say, "Well, he's one of us." Trump probably plays along too and brags about things he never even did, like, grabbing people by the pussy against their consent, more or less. And so they get liquored up a little bit and they tell him their dirty secrets, and then he remembers them or maybe records them. And then these people always end up getting knocked out of the way, one by one, however much he wants to do so. My theory is that simply, because of his powerful position, because of the fact that he was rich and famous, a celebrity and a billionaire at the same time, and aspiring politician by that point in time, he rubs elbows with these people and knows what they're up to. He keeps tabs on them. And so it's no surprise to me when he points out somebody's dirty or somebody's a crook and then they get exposed as a crook. Yeah, there you go. By the way, John Kerry's in some hot water. He may have violated the Logan Act, I believe, by conducting diplomacy while not being enabled to do so, attempting to talk about the Iran deal with the Iranians. It may have been a huge mistake for Kerry to do that because he may actually be, he's low enough on the totem pole. He's never actually been in the White House, so to speak. He's just a lowly Secretary of State and a senator and a would-be president. Yeah, he's low enough down for Trump to roast him and throw him in a jail cell. That could happen. As far as Schneiderman, the big element of the story is the fact that here's yet another individual who, as a New York Attorney General, was, I believe, planned to be empowered on going after people that Trump pardoned. I believe, wouldn't he have been the one responsible for that if what's his name there, the governor of New York, gets his way to pass legislation to ignore presidential pardons in any case involving New York? Because, of course, Trump's from New York City, so if he had any partners in crime and did anything wrong and tries to pardon them, they'd presumably be living in New York, or at least in the past. Wouldn't that be Schneiderman's job to go after them? Now, isn't that an interesting coincidence? I think so. So now all we need to do is see, like, I think it's cool. It doesn't Cuomo, isn't he the governor of New York? You know, round-faced Cuomo. Maybe he'll be next in line. Maybe we find out that he likes to put on his wife's clothes and spank himself and record himself doing that on Omegle or something. I don't know. We'll find out some stuff about more people throughout time. It does seem that the number of scandals in politics over the last year is sky high compared to in the past. Oddly enough, the only person absent this is Trump. You know, everyone else is getting embroiled and doing all sorts of terrible, crazy things. This guy launders money, and that person over there violated the whatever act, and this person embezzles, and that person has Chinese slush funds, and he's a pervert, and she's a husband beater. And all of these people, one by one, they get exposed in all these scandals. Notoriously, the only one that the media ever focuses on for more than 2 days out of any news cycle is Trump, because of a probe, because of allegations. You know, yeah. Hashtag resist, as in resist the bullshit of the establishment, I guess. So Schneiderman's out. Big hit for the Democrats. He's a high-powered Democratic attorney general. A major figure. Also, second to this, and this was very funny, Malnew actually shared this out on Twitter. An image, Kirsten Gillibrand, who has been maneuvering herself, I assure you, into a position to be on the short list of Democratic nominees for the presidency in 2020. I can guarantee you that's what she has in mind. She has just had that effectively done away with. The progressives will now never trust her because she put out a statement in favor of Schneiderman saying, oh, we need a good attorney general for New York that will guarantee women's rights. Now, this is on the issue of abortion, not on the issue of beating your spouse or your girlfriend or your fuck buddy or something, which apparently Schneiderman probably did all three. No, Kirsten Gillibrand, though, she wants to talk about women's rights. She accidentally supported a girlfriend beater. I don't think that's going to go over too well with the hashtag MeToo progressives, which she needs to wine and dine. She's a neoliberal, but she wants to appear to be kind of sort of progressive and female so that she can get, onto the short list of top tier nominees. She wants to be in the top 3 going into it so that she can compete and then she can become the next president of the United States. I doubt that'll happen. Her chances just plummeted because of the Schneiderman resigning thing. If he hadn't resigned and had stuck to his guns and said, I did nothing wrong, these claims are false, I'm keeping my job, try and force me out, see what happens, and it'll be a partisan hatchet job if they do, then this wouldn't have mattered. But now Kirsten Gillibrand gets to go down with Schneiderman, essentially. She can stay in the Senate, but she's never going to become the president of the United States. That's a near guarantee that never happens. Also, I believe isn't she in her late 60s? Like, she looks younger than some of these politicians, but, young in the Senate is, in your 60s. It's probably why we have problems as a country. So she's been bullseyed out of the way, basically. You can look forward to that. She'll get crucified a little bit, too. Seems like it's disproportionately liberal Democrats that get involved with being, despicable human beings. By the way, on the abortion issue, I'll tell you this, with regards, my attorney general to protect a woman's right to choose women's rights. Abortion is the biggest boogeyman. I say this as someone who's 100% pro-choice, just so no one gets the wrong idea. I totally believe in a woman's right to choose abortion. Absolutely. I don't have a problem with it morally. I get flack from the right on this. But it is the biggest fucking boogeyman that's used in state-to-state elections by the Democratic Party. Roe v. Wade is the law of the land. It's not in danger, certainly not in a state like New York. Do you honestly think, no matter what an attorney general, let's say a hardcore Republican is running and gets it, do you honestly think that a hardcore Republican attorney general is going to try to do some legal maneuvering to stop abortion in a state as blue as New York? No, because they don't want to get forced out of office. They want that cushy 6-figure salary. Don't worry too much about it. New York City is not exactly the middle of Alabama, if you know what I'm saying. Don't worry. Even Texas doesn't dare really go whole hog after it. Trust me, New York's not going to. That's about all. Peace out.